What's up, everybody? Mr. Thrasha here with Gemma, because today we are seeking out all the locations. Halloween 2, got my DVD copy right here. Gonna be heading around South Pasadena, Sierra Madre, California, different parts of LA for more of The Night He Came Home. 1981, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance, Charles Cyphers. It's been a long time coming, let's hit it. Halloween 2. There's Michael getting shot off of the balcony of the Doyle house above the front door. Obviously, they used a different balcony for part 1. Right after Michael, they re-show, even though they show him then being shot 7 times, not 6, but this is where it starts. He was shot off the balcony, where you see that hedge, he would have been laying there. And Loomis came out to investigate. He only found some blood in the grass, and Michael was gone. He then walked over this direction a little bit, and the neighbor came out of this house at 1536. So what's going on out here?
Trick or treated to death tonight. You don't know what death is.
So this is right after the opening credits of Halloween 2. You see a point of view shot, a POV of what Michael sees. It was the dead of night, but he came from this direction. Look down this way, see some trick-or-treaters. Then the camera pans this way to a barking dog. Nighttime, but here's a shot of the alleyway in 1981. It's filming a Halloween 2. It's the trick-or-treaters down there. After the credits end opening credits sequence for Halloween 2, you see a POV shot of what Michael sees. He looks down here. He's hiding in this alleyway. The dead of night. See some trick-or-treaters. And then a barking dog right here. There are dogs around here. And he walks this way. And you will see this exact pole. The one to the right was put up later. But this one here with the X on it, that was in the film. There's the dog from the film. That X in the film. He walks this way. Then you see Loomis pull up right in front of that white fence way at the end of the alley. Brackett pulls up and Loomis is yelling, "I shot him 6 times! I shot him 6 times!" Can't have gotten very far. Michael's just hiding over here. This fence was not up. He was just by these doors. So Loomis and Brackett pull off that way. Then there's a cut shot. So a quick snapshot, so you don't see this part of the alley, but right at that cut, he's actually then against this wall over here, just beside this truck, and he slinks that way into the Elrod's yard to get the knife. Pretty awesome right here. The legendary alleyway from Halloween 2, 1981. Barking dog and all. Got it. X marks the spot. I gotta touch this pole. And next time I'm watching Halloween 2 and go, I touched that pole. In fact, touched the X. Yeah. A shot of the alleyway from Michael's POV. Right before you see Loomis in the distance. See that double garage there to the left.
I shot him 6 times.
It was just at the end of the Halloween 2 alley, which is Magnolia Lane, if you're ever looking for it. Right off of Meridian. It's hard to say if this is the exact same white fence, but it's where he was. I shot him 6 times! Just after Michael left the alleyway, he came up this way, right into the back door right there, to where the Elrods lived. They were watching the horror movie marathon. She asked her husband, "Want mayonnaise on your sandwich? How about mustard?" But he was asleep. And then the news footage came on right in this house, right at the back there. Michael went in that door, found the knife, caught the newscast of them saying they found 3 bodies. And the killer's still on the loose, and he was right behind her. Grabbed the knife, and moved on again. And then you hear Mrs. Elrod scream. Ah, I want a ham sandwich now. The Elrod's house, but there's that classic shot of Michael after picking up the knife behind Mr. and Mrs. Elrod. Only one man has gotten in there and checked out that cutting board. That is Sean Clark, the horror master. I think that after he got the knife, he would have just went to the next door neighbor's house. But really, the next door neighbor's house to the Elrods was over here, on Montecito Crescent, in the city of Sierra Madre, nowhere close to South Pasadena. Michael left the Elrods with the knife. He then went over here to Alice's house. You'll notice many similarities, including that thing that I always thought was for a hose or something right there. You'll notice is in the film. Show some matchup shots. And the garage might be a different color, but the door right to the left of the garage still the same all these years later. So nothing's really changed here at Alice's house here in Sierra Madre. You can see her standing in front of the garage. It pretty much looks the same, just painted a different color. And Michael's standing in the shadows. Here, saw Alice on the phone. Just one window over, that can be seen in the film. All this looks the same. Watched her in that window talking on the phone. Someone told her about what happened down on North Orange Grove. 3 people were murdered. She says that's just down the street, even though it really wasn't. And they did shoot the interiors in there, as Adam the Woo debunked by figuring out that that air conditioning unit right there beside that bush can be seen in the film. And Michael made his way right into that front door, but from the opposite angle in the interior shot in the film, made his way in there and killed Alice. One of my favorite deaths from Halloween 2 right there. Death of Alice. Out here, Michael looking at Alice through the window. She's talking on the phone on the side of the house. You look at this still of Alice looking back at the front door. You can really tell. You can see the deck out there. It is definitely the same interior. So she was killed right inside this little house. Right in there is where Alice met her demise in Halloween 2. Really cool to see that air conditioning unit's still there. Looking at it, looks like it could be the same one from the 80s. Hard to tell for sure, but they did shoot Alice's death scene in there. Pretty much utilized this whole house here at 57 Montecito in Sierra Madre. Not really to the left of the Elrods, like they would have you believe in the film. Very cool, you can see that thing still on the side of the wall all these years later. Michael just standing there in the shadows before killing Allison with a knife. So cool! Halloween 2. And one finalizing shot here. Alice's house. She met her demise in Halloween 2. Obviously you don't see these trees. Maintaining the illusion it was in Illinois. That's all they would have had to do is keep the camera way down. Okay. Then there's a scene over here where Laurie's getting stretchered out after Michael had attacked her earlier on in the night. Some very somber Halloween music. She's stretchered out there and taken off to the hospital. Sheriff Brackett's coming down here flashing his light, and he goes right by this very distinct tree. Here you see Brackett and Loomis out looking for Michael, and they go right by 1542 right here. You see that tree just beyond the fence right there. Here at Magnolia and Meridian, that Sheriff Brackett and Loomis pull up here, and they see the Ben Tramer character, the Michael Myers mask. And Brackett asks him if it's him, and he says, I don't know. And Loomis, Donald Pleasance right here, runs out with his weapon in hand. Hey, you kids! You kids! What we're gonna do here is show where the scared Ben Tramer character walked. He was scared, he went this way. I don't know why he wouldn't just stop there looking for a serial killer, right? And he crossed over here. He made it pretty far. And it would have been just about over here that a cop car came out of nowhere, nailing him, dragging his body on the front bumper all the way to this corner of Meridian in Mongolia, where Tommy had met up with Lori earlier in the day, right by that red curb, and he was here, burning alive. He burned alive, and Loomis could not tell if it was Michael or not, but he had a hunch it wasn't. Then another officer pulled up and said they just found 3 bodies in the Wallace house, and he thinks one of them was Annie. Very gripping character work by Charles Cyphers playing Sheriff Brackett. And they don't really tell you what happened to the cop that hit Ben Tramer right here. He's burning alive right there. Corner where Tommy met up with Lori in part 1 earlier on in the day. That's where Ben Tramer was burning alive. You can notice, I'll show a supporting shot of course, but there was a young Dana Carvey, Garth Algar himself, talking to a reporter out here about what had gone down in the murders here in the Wallace house earlier on in the night. A lot of people see his name in the credits and go, Dana Carvey? Can't be the same guy, but it is. The one and only Dana Carvey, his first role ever, Halloween 2, right here outside the Wallace house. There you see a very young Dana Carvey talking to the reporter in front of the Wallace house. That's pretty cool. Dana Carvey. Sheriff Brackett had shown up with Dr. Loomis, and he had to identify Annie, who was then being stretchered out. After Michael strangled her and slit her throat, she was being stretchered out right there. That's where he removed the sheet. Recognized it was Annie. Loved Donald Pleasance, and Charles Cyphers acting there when he looks up and he goes, "Damn you."
You let him out? I didn't let him out. I gave orders for him to be restrained.
Wild tree here in Kirsten Court, Sierra Madre. This tree can be seen in Halloween 2. Michael goes right by it. I'm going to recreate his walk in a second. Michael was being played by Dick Warlock in Halloween 2, and Dick Warlock's son is Boombox Boy, who's carrying the boombox right in this vicinity, and then he bumped into his father playing Michael Myers, The Shape, and on the boombox, Michael overheard them say they took Laurie Strode, the one survivor, to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, and then he knew exactly where to go, in the direction this gentleman's going. We're gonna do the whole walk that Michael took, right here along the sidewalk in Halloween 2. This tree is wild. It was in Halloween 2. Look at this tree. It's honestly something else. It's wild. This tree is part of Halloween 2 history. I do love all things Halloween. Right here, that can be seen in Halloween 3. The guy uses the payphone at one of these exact stores as well. Here's a shot of the whole Kirsten Court area, and the ladies pulling away right there on their way to the hospital. You see that crazy tree to the left, and the Hotel Shirley.
To Haddonfield Memorial Clinic.
Right after Michael runs into the kid with the boombox, he knows Laurie is at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, and he immediately starts heading that direction. Can't really take the exact path because it's blocked by tables, but he got onto this sidewalk. Michael walked this way. So right after Michael figures out she went to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, he's on his way. These tables were not here. He takes this exact walk. You get the shot from behind Myers, but he went this way. Cops were going by. Nobody noticed Michael walking this exact path. Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, right there. Following some trick-or-treaters, he passed this pole on his way to find his sister at the hospital. Shot of Hunt and Loomis pulling up to the riot going down outside of the Myers house. There's a point in Halloween 2 where there's a riot going on outside of the Myers house, and Loomis and, well, the new sheriff that was helping out Loomis, I think he says his name's Hunt, says, "Hunt, send another vehicle, old Myers house." An officer was actually coming out of that window, which would have been Judith's window, tell the kids to go home, and you get yet another one of those intriguing Donald Pleasance speeches. Very creepy, no actor like him. Donald Pleasance, who played Loomis, one of the best ever. And then a kid approaches saying, "Oh, we're worried about Ben Tramer, he left the party at 10. And he goes, "It's just a little after 11, boys." He goes, "He was wearing a stupid mask." So they figure that's who was hit by the cop. Then they get word that they've had a break-in at the old elementary school. They're pretty sure it's him, and off they go, the old elementary.
After 15 years, he waited with extraordinary patience.
We know that it was this exact window with this yellow sticker that Michael broke into. He broke in there, got in there, put a knife in the desk over here, into the sister, and on the board he put Sam Hain in blood, which Loomis ominously explains means the Lord of the Dead, the end of summer, the festival of Sam Hain. Then Marion Chambers, who's also an H2O, she shows up. She says, "There's a marshal outside who wants to talk to you. You have to come with me immediately." And there is a scene that was filmed right inside of Garfield Elementary here for part 2. There was a custodian doing some work, and Loomis is escorted out the front with Officer Hunt and taken away, and Hunt assures him, "We'll find him." And he says, "Where you gonna look?" "I don't know. Neither do I." Pretty wild. Scenes from Halloween 1 and 2 were shot here, but there you go. It's where he broke into the elementary school, part 2. Love that scene. You can count right here the number of windows to see exactly which one Michael broke to get in here at the elementary school. Shot from the inside here.
The end of summer. The festival of Sam Hain.
The interior here at Garfield Elementary, as you see here when Nurse Chambers is talking to Dr. Loomis, but can't really get in there. I probably could, but I'm not going to ask to go in. But here's a shot of them just inside this school here. Shot here right out front of Garfield Elementary using Halloween 1 and 2 as the marshal escorts Loomis away. Dr. Loomis is taken away from Garfield Elementary by the marshal. You see them go this way. At one point there's a shot of them passing the haunted Hotel Shirley straight up this way on their way to the clinic. Thank you again so much, everybody. Please like, please subscribe. Much more film and locations to come. more horror, more comedy. We did not go to the Morningside Hospital, which was used in Halloween 2. They will arrest you on the spot for filming there. They do not approve of it. It is an ambulatory care unit. And the interiors they shot, some of which at Pasadena Community Hospital in Pasadena, also do not want you to be filming for Halloween 2 inside. So we got everything we could get. I am not a United States citizen, so I did not need to be arrested on the spot. Please like, please subscribe. I had a lot of fun seeking out all the other locations for Halloween 2 next to the hospital, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. You can join me on Twitter or Instagram. Much more to come on the Mr. Thrasha Show, more filming locations. Check out other old videos. I appreciate you guys coming along, and I hope you enjoyed the locations for 1981 Halloween 2. Goodbye, and have a happy Halloween.